It's the Two Gems Podcast.
Hey, how you doing, babe? Here it is, Thursday. We have a cottage now. It's exciting. If anyone's wondering why we were back and then we weren't, it's like, oh, we bought a cottage, and then that consumed our lives for 2 weeks.
I don't feel like you can just throw that out there without a big preamble.
You want to preamble it?
No, first I want to talk about our top fives.
Oh my God, I'm so over top fives. What
No
top
one
fives?
else is, so frig off.
Okay.
Next time I should ask other people to come in and talk about
What's
their
your top fives this week?
Top 5 fruits. Go ahead.
You've thought about it, so you tell me yours.
I haven't actually thought about it. I just know what my first 2 are.
Okay, banana, because I think it's extremely versatile. Okay, I think bananas are underrated. People don't talk about bananas, but then every smoothie needs bananas. Does every smoothie need strawberries? The only reason I'm already coming out defensive here because Sheridan always calls me and she's like, you love bananas. Like, bananas are the crux of all great things.
But bananas
Banana
alone?
splits.
Like a one banana alone?
Bananas in cereal. Bananas in everything. Banana bread.
Peanut butter, banana.
Yeah, peanut butter,
Okay, move
banana.
on. Bananas.
Okay, pineapple. Incredible. Makes your semen sweet.
Oh my God.
How
would you know that? Have you tested the theory?
Yes. I have no idea. Yeah, I went all meat, then I went all pineapple. It was much sweeter. Watermelon. I love watermelon. Apparently eating watermelon seeds is good for kidney stones. I heard this before.
Not a huge watermelon fan. I don't like the taste of water. I take that back. I don't like the texture of watermelon, but I like the taste of watermelon things.
Do you even like summer?
Yeah.
Summer and watermelon. It's
I know. Never loved it. Keep going.
okay, maybe kiwis and then peaches.
Wow. That's a lineup.
No, when you get a really good peach, is there a better fruit?
I think
The thing is, it's so hit or miss. But if you get a banging peach, it could be the number one slot. Like a good, summery, soft, juicy peach. I don't know if there's anything better. And you know what I want to throw in there?
Sure.
If you ask me my top 5 favorite fruits for like flavored things like candies and stuff,
Yeah.
grape. Grape is like, do I care about grapes any other time? No. But like grape gum, grape anything. High chews, grape flavored stuff, grape drink, grape everything. It's bomb.
You love grape.
But then if I never ate another grape again, I wouldn't even care.
Wow.
At all. Don't even care at all.
Okay, here we go.
Top
5. Strawberries.
Wow.
Pineapple.
Okay.
Raspberry.
You shook your head when I said pineapple.
I did not. I was just jealous that you took it when you got to go before me.
Okay.
Raspberries. Apples.
That's all 5. Don't try and six
That
or
was
5.
that was my 4.
Say it again.
Strawberry, pineapple, raspberry, apple. That's all I said.
What?
Grapes.
Grapes
Now-
made your top 5.
Yep. And
Over peaches.
I hear you with the best of the best peach. For me, grapes are more consistent. When I get a crunchy grape, I'm done for. Fun fact, when I was pregnant with Kaya, grapes were really turning up with inflation and they were very expensive. I swear it's like the first moment that I realized that like things go up in price back then. And Matt told me I had to cut it out on the grapes because I would eat a full thing of grapes every day and they were like $12. It was
Oh my
insane.
God, it was so expensive.
It was insane.
It's just one of those things. It's funny as humans how we'll go out and spend mad amounts of money on something, but then there's other things that's like, why is this so expensive?
Also need to mention though that they have to be green grapes. I don't love red grapes. And they're all right, but like a green grape for me, a crunchy green grape.
So do you think that if I blindfolded you and had like
No question if you're asking me to tell the difference between grapes. Like no question.
the grape challenge,
They're so different.
are they always different?
Yes. They are.
You know the cotton candy grapes?
Ew. I know you love those. I don't
Those
like
are the
them at all.
good grapes.
No, they're not.
Those are the good ones.
That's not what a grape tastes like, Matt. That's a cotton candy grape. It's not the same.
I feel like there was something else I wanted to mention in the midst of all this.
Do you want to know something else? I'm just remembering this now. At Christmas, it's so funny thinking back to some of the things that my parents did for me for Christmas. But one of my favorite things that they did was that they would get me chocolate milk, because it wasn't in our house ever. So I'd go to like the basement fridge, because we had another fridge in the basement, and there would be a thing of chocolate milk and a pineapple.
Oh my God.
But I love pineapple.
Life is so weird, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
I feel like we have to move it along here. Let's bring a few things up before we jump right into stuff.
Sure, yes.
So it's going to be a quick episode. Our kids are going to be home in roughly 17 minutes. So we're going to keep moving. So like in the midst of all this, you're going to hear a whole bunch of chaos, dog barking, kids are going to come tramping in. Maybe this will say hi on the mics. Okay, that is a thing.
Yes.
Also, the woman at Chevrolet this morning wanted you to shout her out, so you can do that at some point. You should. She was very sweet.
I will. I'm happy to talk about
Julie and Emma.
Julie and Emma. Yeah, it's funny because I feel like I've kind of grown up, and this is so, what's the word I'm looking for? I feel like I've lost a bit of my brain cells. I do feel like the past week I have been waking up so early and going to bed so late that I'm not all there right now. However, I have a stereotype of who I assume works at car dealerships, which isn't really fair of me. But I think it's because growing up, whenever I'd go with my parents, there was just, and there's always this like idea around like certain car dealerships.
What, the guy from Matilda kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just kind of like, and the thing is, I think because people don't know about cars. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's one of those things where it's like you don't know all the information, so they could literally be saying anything out their ass, and you're like, okay, you know. Yeah. Also, like when I bring my car in to get fixed, they could tell me 1,000 things that are happening under the hood, and I could just say yes, and I have no idea. So I think that is kind of intimidating when you go into a car dealership. But yeah, so very exciting news, everyone. At the age of 34, I officially bought my very first car. And I think it's really exciting. Thank you. And
that's really cool. It's a big thing in life.
You know what? I actually, weirdly enough, got a little teary when you said that on the way home because it is a big deal.
It is.
And I should be proud of myself.
It's a milestone in life.
Yeah.
And you want to tell them what you bought?
Yeah.
So
I'm like, I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
I said to Matt, I'm like, what am I getting again?
Why didn't you know? Because I don't.
Well, Matt did the brunt work for sure, which is really, really kind. He loves vehicles and you love dealing with things like this.
Oh, I geek right out on it.
Right. So it brings you joy. So I was happy to let you take the driver's seat on that. And
found us a great deal. Found us an awesome dealership to work with.
Yeah. So we went up to the Bridgewater Chevrolet.
South Shore Chevrolet.
Yeah. And Emma was just adorable.
Ask for Emma. Tell her we sent you.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she was really, really sweet. Again, you dealt with her more than I did, but I just met her today and I thought she was wonderful. And then Julie in the back. Yeah, Julie said she was going to listen. Julie.
Yeah, that's what.
You hear? We said we'd send her the link.
I almost lost my cool in the room in front of Julie, and then Sharon made a couple jokes, and Julie was like, are we going to talk about this on an episode?
Yeah, so... So I had told Matt, and actually just the other day I was kind of talking to him about this, and this might be something that I need, like it might be some healing from my inner child that I need to deal with, but I feel like my whole life I've kind of had somebody holding my hand and helping me along the way, and I'm very grateful for that, you know, and I understand my privilege with my parents and how helpful they were to get me to where I'm at and whatnot, but I also feel like I never really had to figure things out on my own. So for something like this, I really wanted to take it on by myself. And I wanted to do it alone and like be the person that kind of, you know, takes the wheel and is in charge. And anyways, so I was dealing with all of the people. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, my mom and dad just kind of dealt with those things for me growing up. And then you came into my life and you've had such a habit of also doing the same thing growing up. You've been the one to kind of take care of yourself and do all the things on your own. So you know exactly how to do it, right?
Well, sort of.
You know what I mean?
Just roll with it, yeah.
Sure. But like I would say you have more history and like stuff under your belt. Is that the... Oh my God, I made so many car references.
Am I really good at going in debt to dealerships? Yes.
But you know what I mean.
I've
more life stuff.
In my adult life, I've purchased a lot of shit.
Sure. More life stuff that I've never done.
Yeah, okay, keep going.
Yeah, so no, I know what you're going to say. I'm just going to say that for once I was like, this is really cool because I guess I could also backtrack a little bit and say that how long ago did I incorporate myself?
You were incorporated probably like, I don't know, like 9 months ago or something. Let's say.
Yeah. So I of course made the right decision to incorporate myself. It's something that I wish I would have done a while ago, but again, a little bit unfamiliar with things, and it's okay. It's a learning curve. We're where we should be now, and I just think it's really cool that I think to how far I've come, and that, I'm incorporated and I was able to purchase a vehicle under my business name, and it feels pretty badass to do it. So
I think you're so sexy right now.
yeah, I know you.
I love this.
Yes. And, it's always really tricky to talk about accomplishments, I think, sometimes, because it can seem, I would never, ever want to come across as, I don't know the right word, but pompous or.
I knew you were going to say that word.
Really?
That was the word that I was saying in my head. I was like, pompous.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
I would never want to come across like that. And I would never want to make people that follow me feel a certain type of way by me showing off things that I've accomplished. Yeah. So I find it's a really tricky place to try and navigate. But I do think that there's a lesson for me that I've learned is that, I worked really hard and I got to where I am, and I'm really proud of myself. And I should, even if I don't share it with the world, which of course I am right now, but even had I not chosen to do this, I think I'd just take it away from myself and just be really proud of what I did, Yeah.
Yeah. The world's a difficult place to navigate right now.
Yeah, it is.
Even at the best times. And I don't think that that's why that you're not very braggadocious. It's just who you are by nature. But it's also like with so many wars going on and so much shit going on in the world, and inflation and homeless and the drug problems running rampant in our streets. It's hard to come out and be like, but look what I did. I'm doing really well right now.
It feels icky sometimes, right?
It does feel icky.
I don't
and there's
like
a
it.
lot of like ickiness in our life right now because things are going relatively well. And I don't know. Sometimes it's just really, I just wonder why the universe is so kind to us sometimes. And I don't know.
I think it's just really important to humble yourself.
It is.
And recognize, how you got to where you are, to be appreciative of everything that you have. And instead of to just say like, yeah, of course, but I hear you. It does sound icky. It does feel icky. But in the same breath, I know people that love us, and I hope people that follow me and love me and follow me for the right reasons would be happy for me, right? Because that's the type of people you want in your life.
Yeah.
You don't want people that celebrate your victories as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should be super proud of yourself.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you.
Thanks,
I think
Dad.
you're freaking awesome.
That's great.
And I wrote this on something. What was it? Facebook or something?
Maybe my big Instagram caption with my ginger hair.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. But I remember when we had nothing. Like I literally remember, and like for people that don't really know our story, without like bringing you on the 2-hour adventure, it's like there was a point in time where we had nothing. Yeah. Like I remember spending my 20s were completely devoted to work. I hustled every minute of every day. Like how many club nights I missed out on and how many trips with friends I missed out on. Like I spent my 20s grinding my ass off so that I could really try and establish myself and enjoy the rest of the ride. And like, not that I didn't enjoy my 20s, but like I really was hyper focused on career driven stuff. Mm-hmm. I just was. Mm-hmm. And I like you met me in my late 20s, and like I wrote on that post, like I remember specifically, it would have been about, I don't know, maybe 9 years ago or 9 and a bit years ago. I remember laying on your lap in bed one afternoon. We were just laying there coming home from the beach. We came home from the beach, and I was laying there, and I remember crying on your lap because I was just like so worried about everything in life. Like we didn't have anything.
I know.
Like we did, but we didn't. I shouldn't say we had nothing because we obviously had more than a lot of people in the world. But I mean, we were sitting there and we had a baby on the way. Like your stomach was huge with Kaya inside of it. And I was just like, how are we going to afford to raise this child the way that I would want to raise a child? And then I just look at how far we've come. And not just exactly from a monetary standpoint, but the fact that we do things that we enjoy every day and have the flexibility to be there for our kids every day. And the fact that like I get to go pick Sage up in an hour and like hug and kiss my child and like he's in a safe place all day every day. It's just all these things that we take for granted every day. And anyway, you bought your first vehicle. I think that's really cool. Like you had a van, but I dealt with it all and whatever. Like this is in your name.
By the way,
your business, and I'm still rambling. Go.
I just want to say I will miss my van deeply. And the Mommobile van life is a superior
It is.
life. It is an ultimate life to live. Pressing those little buttons and those doors just whipping open, pressing the button. Like, I'm telling you, the van life is the life for me. So I will miss my van. Emma and Julie, if you're listening to this. However,
We're coming back.
Yeah. It was the right choice. Our kids are getting older. It is nice to have me in a bigger vehicle, especially because of the cottage, which we can definitely talk about. Because again, I haven't spoken about it on Instagram at all, but I do feel like we can certainly talk about the cottage. And you know, the driveway is like something I've never experienced before. So it was important for us to have a safe vehicle. Also, Matt, I think, without you even, well, no, I think you do realize, but you are always very concerned about me on the roads.
Absolutely.
And always, like, you're always messaging me, calling me, are you safe, drive safe? Like, I think you care very deeply. I think you think about it a lot when I'm driving and like it's an unsafe condition.
All the time.
You really think about that. So I'm happy that it makes you happy to know that I'm in a ride that you're not going to have to worry about as much. Because that anxiety is not nice to feel.
Well, we yeah, anyway, I'm gonna skip this next story just for reasons I'll tell you off air. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in a safe vehicle now, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And so the cottage.
Should we bring that up next episode? Let's do cottage next episode. I feel like there's a lot to unpack here, and
Well, I'm not going to stop recording in 7 minutes when the kids come home. We've said nothing so far.
I don't know. It's a cute little short
This
episode.
is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What? You
I don't
like
know,
you like bananas and that's it? No, but
You know what I regret? I feel like raspberry should have been in my top 5. Why did I put kiwis in there?
you like a good kiwi.
Yeah, but take the kiwi out and put the raspberry in.
All right.
Yeah.
But
It was
I
on the
also
spot.
wanted to circle back to that comment of you saying that, you know, when it felt like we had nothing. I think one of the scariest things for us at that time was just not knowing. And that can be really scary, the unknown of how we're going to make money, how we're going to make it work. At that time, I stopped working for St. Mary's and I didn't have anything except for maternity leave, right?
Yeah.
Which we all know isn't very much of your pay. And that's all I had because I had I guess it was the 18 months I divided it into, and then we didn't know what I was going to do next. Of course, I could have gone back into teaching, but then it just kind of spiraled into what I'm doing now. But even for you, was that, and then
I was a famous folks. And I mean, like, it wasn't like I was doing bad. It was just like
the weight of the world of the new baby coming
it
and
just
stuff?
felt like, oh my God, there's a baby coming.
Yeah.
And you and your hormones and all this stuff and just everything going on. It just felt like a lot, and I didn't know what was going on.
Sorry, that sounded really insensitive, but I just thought about me being pregnant because a friend of mine is pregnant and we're talking about it, and she said something the other day and it's like she couldn't figure out what she was trying to say, and I said to her, pregnancy brain is something very, very real. And anyway, do you not remember that one time when I couldn't come up with the word poached eggs? And
I do. I remember
it took me, I sat on it for like 45 minutes. I was like, what kind of, those eggs, you know, like, and my brain just couldn't make sense of it. And I was like, pregnancy brain is so funny to me because it's like, it truly takes like some particles of your brain away anyway. I feel like I have pregnancy brain right now. I'm so tired and out of it. I'm not pregnant.
Or are you? What's going on with
No,
that?
I actually took a pregnancy test last night just to check in. We're good.
Did you?
We're good shouldn't be the right way to say it because I know we're kind of up and down. But
Wow, that was not the right thing to say, Sheridan. Well, we've been trying.
Well, I didn't mean it like it's a.
You're like, we're good. Like,
No.
Oh, Sheridan.
Stop trying to make me.
Just
That's like it's always him.
Yeah, I'm always the bad one on here.
No, that
Sheridan,
wasn't.
you insensitive.
I didn't mean it like that. I just meant, you know, like.
Well, no one on this show knows that we were trying for a long time. Like, should we reveal that? We've been trying. Man, this little raspberry
tiny little
episode
is
just some heaters. We've been trying to have another baby for not a crazy amount of time, but I mean a moderately significant. Like, it's been like 6 months, I'd say.
I would
And
say,
nothing's been happening.
well, I do strongly feel as though there's a difference between actively trying and also just whatever happens. And I'm truly saying that because there are a lot of women that struggle with infertility,
Yeah.
and they will be checking ovulation and they will be knowing exactly when is the best time to try and get pregnant. I have not looked into that. You know, we've just been having sex, and if I get pregnant, I get pregnant. That's, wouldn't you say?
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. Okay, we have 3 kids, and they were all conceived in the identical manner that we've been doing it now.
Sure. And I think maybe, I don't know, maybe I know we were very lucky for it to happen that
Yes.
easily. Of course I do. And, I was very naive and dumb. I'll never forget. You don't know until you know. And, even you've said this before, Matt, when you would like joke to people and be like, oh, when I look at Sheridan and she gets pregnant. And you're like,
My God.
and
All the times I said that, I regret saying that. It was so insensitive.
Because you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know the struggles that people are going through. And it could feel so hurtful to somebody that, behind closed doors has been trying for 2 years. And it's like, cool.
I didn't know how prevalent it was in society that people would have a hard time. Like, it would be nothing for me at like a social dinner party thing to be like, oh yeah, I'd look at Sheridan and she'd be pregnant.
Right.
Like, I didn't realize that, man, there could be a quarter of the table that's been trying relentlessly, and it's like weighing on their marriage and their friend, and they just So anyway, I've completely changed my tune. I never talk like that anymore.
And you never ever should. And I think that's a big lesson learned. And anyway, so Matt and I mean, definitely my following does know, because I've said in my stories, like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't think I've gone into detail that like we have actively tried, for however many months, and nothing has transpired from it yet. But I think whatever's meant to be will be for us. And that's that. I'll leave that on that.
Okay.
I don't really know what else there is to say.
Them top 5 fruits.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here drinking this energy drink.
Is there anything you want to say about it, or just leave that?
About what?
Well, you said, should we unveil? Oh my God. Unveil the
Poached
pregnancy
eggs?
thing. No. Yeah. And then you just kind of left it.
I don't know. It's been, I don't know. I don't know really.
I think speaking about it, no matter what, you just want to say the right things, right? And you don't want to.
Well, I don't think I'm going to come across insensitive. I mean, I think I've been on both sides of this fence a little bit. I mean, we have 3 beautiful kids, and the universe has been so kind to us. If another baby doesn't happen for us, I mean, how could I be mad about that? I mean, we've been very, very
Speaking
fortunate.
of, here they are.
Oh my gosh, we get them to say hi on the mic.
Hi.
Oh my God, our kids are coming.
Okay, just
Okay,
watch
Theo,
the-
don't hit the cameras. Come on in. Do you want to say
yeah.
something? Okay, Theo needs a haircut really bad, but he's gonna come in and say hi. Come on, go over on mommy's side. Oh, he's on the show. What's
hi.
up, buddy? How are you? Kai, you want to come to my side? Or you gonna
Hello.
hang out for me?
Okay, so you got to talk a little bit further away.
Hello.
There you go. How was your day today, hon?
Kai, the cameras are rolling and we're recording. We knew you guys would come home. Okay, tell us all about your day. Okay.
My day was amazing. It was good.
Okay,
What are you gonna do now?
I'm going to play first game and see the car. I'm playing first
Oh,
game.
did you see the car outside? What'd you think?
It's cool.
It's a Lamborghini.
I haven't seen. I didn't see it.
It's just outside. Go have a look.
Can I just
No, hang out on the show for a
it's
minute.
okay.
Tell us about your day, and then we'll go out. Was everyone nice to you at school today, Theodore?
Yeah, I've been playing soccer.
You were playing soccer? We're like who were you, Messi or the other guy?
Not Ronaldo.
You, turn the mic a little bit. So, who do you like more, Ronaldo or Messi?
Messi.
Ooh.
Okay,
But
love you guys.
Ronaldo's such a hunk, though. He's just so handsome.
Okay, you guys get out of here. Love you. Watch.
Okay, Kai, how was your day?
Good.
Was everyone nice to you today?
You.
Yeah, why?
Yeah, you were
Love
playing
you
with
too
your
bad.
friends?
Can you just keep it down a
your
little bit
boyfriend?
while you're playing?
I don't have one.
But could you just keep it down a tiny bit while you're playing, huh?
I love you, baby.
And can you let Lloyd out too?
Don't let Lloyd out. He's
Love
going
you,
to come in
Kaya.
here.
Can you close the door, babe?
Okay,
We're gonna
just
keep
carefully
recording.
get out.
SUV is so good.
Okay, do not let Lloyd out.
Can we go in the car?
Our van's gone forever. Yeah.
No, not yet. I'll bring you out after. Let's just finish what we're doing.
Won't be long, okay?
We
Love
won't be
you.
long, and then we'll go out. We'll go out for a little ribski.
Can you close the
Go
door,
get
honey?
pickles.
Hey, Dad, this is what I was doing when I gotta go.
Wow. Okay.
You gotta-
Theodore,
can't-
Theo, if you're going to play Fortnite, put your headset on, okay? Thanks, guys. Don't let Lloyd out. Love ya. Okay, that's first time in 2 years of doing this show.
I thought we were just gonna cut that out. That is
No,
not our kids showing up.
Really?
Our kids are awesome, and I don't care what anybody says. When your kids come from school, they are done. They have been using their brains all day. They just want to chill. They're not in the right mindset to be chatting about interesting things. And I know Kaya does really want to come in here and have like deep conversations, but that probably wasn't it.
That was definitely it. That's staying, and it was fine.
Yeah. Sorry, we were
Anyhow.
talking about having a baby, and you were saying if it doesn't happen,
Yeah, I
how
mean,
can I be mad?
it's just.
Yeah, you're right. We're just very
maybe
grateful.
it just maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just not in the cards. We'll see. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why it's not. But we're fortunate enough to say that we have 3 children. I mean, it's okay. Like
Yeah.
it's
I find we're never really on the same page. It's like, when it doesn't happen in that 1 month, and then I'm kind of like, all right, well, and you're like, well, wait, and then vice versa. And it's like we're never actually on that same page. We're both like, but I do find there's something about when this can pertain to anything in life. When you don't get something you're hoping for, it makes you want it more, right? So I think oftentimes when I do see the negative test, whereas before I might have been like waiting, I'm like, oh, if it doesn't happen, no big deal. But then when I see that test, I'm like, man, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Anyway.
We're also like unlocking a certain stage of our life where we're talking about actually maybe like getting on an airplane with our 3 kids and stuff. And as soon as you sprinkle in a brand new nugget, you just wrote another 3 years off.
I hear you, and I agree. You definitely press that reset button, which is a pretty intense reset button. But I also do feel like the more children that you have, the more you just go with the flow.
Well,
I'll tell you what.
Your mom that said it to you, or
what?
Someone said something to you, and then you say it to me, and it's like burned in my head forever. It's etched in my brain forever. You said you'll never regret having another kid. And it's such a true thing. Like you're never going to have another bundle of joy in your life and regret that.
I think the quote is like, you'll never regret having another child, but you might regret not having. Like you might always sit and wonder and be like, what had happened if I had,
Yeah.
But if you do have another baby, you'll just be so grateful.
Your heart
you'll
just
make
grows
it work,
bigger,
right?
and
You'll make it work.
And yes.
For sure. And I do really think that, yes, we are unlocking a new point in our lives, which is really lovely. And the kids are getting so old. Like even the fact that right now they can wander off and we can keep recording is huge.
It's crazy.
But I truly do feel like the more, at least for us personally, the more children we have, the more we just go with the flow. And I'll tell you what, if this time next year I'm pregnant and we want to go with the kids to the Caribbean, or if I have a newborn, we're going to go. Because the newborn's
it'll
just
be a
going
fun trip for me. Won't it?
Yeah, Matt will be going down the water slides, and I'll just be having my pina colada with the baby.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can see how this is gonna go already.
No, but it's also, and I'll just toot your horn for a moment, because whenever I do talk to people about having a 4th child, oftentimes, which I think is unsolicited advice, I'll hear people say like, "That's crazy," and it's like, "Hey, keep your business to yourself. It's not your family. It's mine. That's no problem. I can choose what I want to do with my life."
Yeah.
But I have you, and you're so hands-on with our children, and to be honest, probably hang out with them more than I do.
I do, for sure.
So,
it's not even a question.
So I think that's really important to note, because if you were, let's say, I don't know, let's just go, you're a military husband and you're gone for however long, or you know what I mean, then it would be very different if I had 4 children to raise on my own. Well, not on my own, but you understand what I'm trying to say.
I wonder, like, I bet you 20, 30, 40, 50, like, I bet you all through time, you could always sit there and pin the woman as the one that does everything for the kids. Mm-hmm. I wonder if the tides are starting to change in that. Like, now that the workforce, like, is becoming, like, slightly more even...
Sure.
Of an even playing field. I know it's not. I know that. But, I mean, still, just, like, there's more women in the workforce now, where before it was, like, if you have a vagina, you're staying home with the kids. That's
right.
literally what it was.
Yes.
But now... now it's much more prevalent to see women out in the workforce and stuff, and men have to step up to the plate and do more stuff at home to kind of like carry the weight of...
Well, I mean, if both of you are going to work, if you're both going to work from 9 to 5 and you're coming home, why does it fall on mom to do everything?
It just always has.
But
And
that's what I'm saying, though, is that back in the day, air quotations, dad would go to work and, mom would be at home doing the laundry, making the food and all this stuff. And you come home and you provide for your husband because...
But you make for dinner, hun? Like,
right, a classic. But now I'm saying, if you both leave the door at the same time and you both come home at the same time, why does it just... You know what I mean?
It just does. That's what it's always been.
But what you're saying is it's not necessarily that anymore.
I'm curious. I would love to see the data points on how much more involved men are now than they were 30 years ago.
Well, definitely very much so.
I would love to know what you're saying it, but I would love to know it, to see the data. Like, even think about all the TV shows that we grew up on. Think of every family show. The mom always looked after the kids, and the dad would come home, put his feet up, and like ask what was for dinner and whatever. Like, think about every show. Riddle them off. Look at like Family Guy. the mom was pushing the vacuum cleaner and she was the one keeping the house together, and then Peter would come home and just be a complete buffoon. Think of The Simpsons. Think of like Family Matters. Think of Married with Children. Think of literally every one of those shows. Think about the dynamic in the family and how they portrayed men and how they portrayed women. Mm-hmm. The stereotypes. Mm-hmm. But is it changing? I wonder. I wonder if it is, or do we just think it is? Do men still suck? I don't know.
That doesn't suck. They were.
No, but I mean,
it's just different times. It's just different times. I definitely do think that things have changed. I'll never forget when somebody told me that their husband had only changed their child's diaper a couple times and the baby was like a year old or something. And I told that. I mean, I didn't reveal any names. Like, I wasn't being hurtful by going around and spitting her name and what her husband had done. But I was just saying to other people, like, how would that make you feel? And they were all flabbergasted because their husband, as they all said to me, were very involved. And I think that it's absolutely changed versus the 1950s, I guess we could say.
Or even like the 90s, anything.
Oh, wow. You think?
Yeah. I mean, I think the world's changing very rapid right now. Like, I don't think it would have been too long ago that men would be the bread earners in the house and the women would just keep the family together and keep the house clean and cook and stuff. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm not saying that that's all they did. I more so mean that that's kind of what they were pigeonholed into doing.
Right. Like, there's such this funny thing going around online. I feel like it's like a constant argument between people that are stay-at-home moms that have 2 children, like Kaya and Theo, when they were not in daycare and I had them at home. And people that will argue and be like, that's not a job. And it's like, je m'excuse.
Yeah.
Je m'excuse.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise I would be paying somebody to take care of my children. It's very much so a job.
Yeah.
I just can't even understand how people can't wrap their heads around it. That
literally
what
you just hit the nail on the head. If you weren't doing it,
Somebody
it's a job for someone else.
Exactly.
It's literally a job for someone else.
And then there's oftentimes women that come in and kind of talk in the arguments and not the arguments, and the comments, and will say things like, I've done both. I've worked from home, or I've been a stay-at-home mom and I've gone back to work. And I'll tell you, being a stay-at-home mom is the hardest job I ever had, lonely, exhausting, all the things. Mm-hmm. Anyway, even imagine just getting up every day in your sweatpants and feeling like crap and like having to do that versus like you get up and you get kind of cute and you go out to work and you're feeling good and you're social and you're talking to adults and having adult interactions. Like it can be so isolating being a stay-at-home mom.
Well, yeah. I mean, but it's also human nature to wonder, like, is the grass greener on the other side? Then all of a sudden you're like, the first little bit, you got your tunes on driving into work in the morning and stuff, and like, it's a nice little change the monotony at home. And then you would do that and you would miss being at home.
Absolutely.
And being there for the kids and like smelling the roast beef in the slow cooker, I don't know. It's just people need to practice being more content in the present moment. I really strongly feel that. Humans, it's just in our DNA to just always wonder if it's better doing the other thing. Always with everything.
I spent a lot of my time doing that in my 20s, I would say. It was always as a grass greener, Yeah. I do feel like you've kind of taught me to be more present, and I think that's a big thing. Like, people that talk about like mindfulness and meditation and being in your present moment and all that. Like, I feel like there's really something to what you're saying. It's a whole practice, And I think it would just it make you feel more grateful for everything that you have versus like, well, what's next?
Well, yeah, because I think if you spend your whole life dreaming of tomorrow, a day's going to come when tomorrow isn't an option anymore. You know what I mean? If every day you're thinking of tomorrow, what about the day when it's your last day and you don't realize tomorrow is it? Mm-hmm. You have to just take it day by day and appreciate life in the present moment. I'm guilty of it too, but I think that more often than not, I try to really just be like, today is the greatest day of my life. I'm alive.
That's what Matt said.
Straight up.
Matt has a sandwich. This is the best sandwich I've ever had. I like that attitude, though. Yeah, it's a good attitude. Do you want to quickly talk about... Okay, as I'm talking very monotone, by the way, fun fact. Somebody called me out and said that I have vocal fry, and this is not the first time that this has happened. In fact, oftentimes my ads will get pushed out to the universe, which is always a very dangerous thing because people say unkind things on the internet. But I posted, I think it was my Air Miles ad or something, and it got posted to Facebook, aka the worst spot.
Oh my God, it's toxic.
And somebody wrote something like about vocal fry, and I thought that they were trying, because they said something about captions, blah, 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 blah. And I genuinely thought that they had a typo. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, are the captions not big enough for you or something? Because I had the text on screen. And then she like wrote back to me and was all angry because she thought that I was being like,
condescending or something.
yeah. So I was like, what is vocal fry? So anyway, then I looked it up because somebody said I had vocal fry again today. And I'm like, geesh, I guess
I don't think you're a vocal fry person.
Anyway, you can't help what your voice is. That's the point I'm getting at, okay? Your voice is your
Look at you
voice.
trying to be more like flamboyant over there.
Your voice is your voice. So leave everybody alone. No, but seriously, like it's not kind to make fun of people's voices. You can't help what you sound like. You were born that way, right?
Maybe you do a vocal fry.
And also,
maybe that's why I never hear you talk. You have this muffled blend into the background voice, and that's why I never hear you. No, man, you'll be like, man, can you get the towels out of the laundry? And like, I just oh my God.
It's just like, Matt, can you get the towels out of the laundry?
Yeah, just like add a little oomph to it.
And then you'll get the towels out. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Sure. Yeah.
Matt, can you wash the dishes tonight?
I do actually want to talk about our cottage, though, because I haven't talked about it at all.
It's such a big, crazy topic, though. You want to unearth this on like minute 36? Sure.
Okay, why do you act like it's such a big deal? What if we only talk about it for 2 minutes?
It's the most exciting thing if you remove the children in our entire life.
It is.
It is. This is something that has been building up for me since I was, I don't know, maybe like 5 or something. This has been like a 33-year journey of my life.
And honestly, this has been something that I've wanted forever. As many of you know, I started going up to my cottage, which is in Ottawa.
It's actually not.
Sorry, I was getting to it. So
Wrong province.
I'm from Ottawa, and our cottage is up in Quebec. It's about an hour and a half away, and it was my guys. It's about an hour and a half away. Yeah, just riding those ways.
You cross the bridge and you're in Quebec, and the cottage is over there.
How can you not have vocal fry when you're talking for long periods of time? Anyway, so it's true though. It's an hour and a half away. And it's in Quebec. And I went there my whole life. My dad bought it from my grandfather. I don't even think I was born when that happened. And I started going up to the cottage when I was, I think, 6 weeks old. And I've spent my whole childhood there. All my favorite memories are up there. It means everything to me. So when I moved here, and every time we went back to Ottawa, I would be going back mostly for the cottage. Like I'd go back, of course, see my friends and family, but it was crucial that I head up to the cottage and spend some time there.
It was just about the chip stand on the drive.
Oh my God.
We don't have a chip stand by our cottage.
It's fun. Her grape juice was the best juice of all time.
I can attest to this. I tried it and it's incredible.
Oh, so good.
What kind of juice is it?
Grape. That's why I pointed to. Yeah.
There you go. Grape juice.
That was a fantastic chip stand. That's a fun part about going to the cottage is when you have those little stops.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to find some stops in our new location. But anyway, so when I moved here, I was always heading back to the cottage, and it was always a pipe dream of mine, 100%, to have a cottage with my kids, and certainly not replicate it, but still enjoy a life at the cottage because I know how special. Why are you laughing? Because I'm trying to replicate it perfectly.
Every person has like a thing about them. Like I won't even name names right now, but there's people that just went through my head, and like they have a purpose. There's like a thing about them that makes them them. You and your whole purpose in life is to basically replicate your childhood in your adult life and like mimic it onto your kids.
The good stuff.
Yeah, hopefully.
But wouldn't you want to do that too? Don't you want to do that with all your good stuff? Or do you have no good stuff?
I don't know. My ride was a little different than yours.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
there's a lot of my childhood I probably wouldn't want to replicate whatsoever for our kids.
There you go.
I want a moderately very different life than I had.
So,
but there is some wholesome shit in there for sure.
Of course.
But there's a whole lot of stuff that I just don't want my kids to even know about. So.
And I was very fortunate. It wasn't until my later years, when my parents and I was older, when the family blew up, right? So I don't have those memories as a child, more so when I was in my 20s. But as a child, I remember growing up thinking my childhood's amazing. I do remember feeling
In
that
the
way.
moment, I thought mine was too. Just kind of looking at outside the box sometimes. Like, yeah, it could have been a little more awesome.
Yeah.
But I made the best of it. Anyway, the Cottage.
Yes. So I will let you speak, Matt. I know you're excited to talk about it. But I
No,
was just
you do
going to
your
say
thing.
that, I think we've always been kind of looking. We've always sort of been looking around. I mean, every person here in Nova Scotia goes on Viewpoint. I know you all do. And you're just creeping around.
Oh, yeah. Just creeping.
I love it. I love looking at homes. I know I'm sure 99% of you like doing the same thing. So we were looking. We're always kind of looking.
For years. Like, we had an agent actively, like, peeking around, like, years and years ago for us.
Yeah.
Multiple agents. Like,
Yeah.
people were keeping an eye out for cottages for us.
Yeah.
As if that's not going to show up on the mic, Sheridan.
Just cut it. Anyway, so finally we found this amazing place. One thing I also do want to say is that my cottage was not winterized, which is fine. We went up in the summer and absolutely loved it for what it was. But there was a family across the lake that we were very close with, second family to us, and their cottage was winterized, and we would go
You
up.
talking about the Linnies? The Linnabos?
The Linnabos, yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But their cottage was winterized, and like clockwork, we'd go up on Boxing Day every year, and they had spent Christmas up there. Their place was winterized. They were snowboarding down their driveway, and I just remember going up and always being, always really loving that and thinking, man, that'd be really cool to spend Christmas up at a cottage. Or like, it's just so, there's just a feeling, and I think Matt and I had looked at a couple other cottages and seen other ones, and it might sound silly to some, but it was just so important for me to feel a feeling. And when we went to go see
The
this
feeling
place,
is everything. That's not funny.
when we went there and I stood inside and then I went down to the water and I kind of sat there. I stood there for like 2 solid minutes and just looked around. I was like, do I feel that feeling? And I felt it. And that's when I was like, I feel it.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
So we're so excited.
I know.
And that's kind of why we've been a little MIA, because it all sort of happened, as much as you say it, like, it happened very quickly.
It did. But it's funny because you and I are always MIA.
Oh my
I feel
God,
like the
I
amount of times I've
know.
said, we're busy humans. We're very busy people.
Yeah.
We never stop. The
Right.
last time, actually, I shouldn't say the last time because it happened about 5 days ago. I put my feet on the couch and I played video games and I didn't move for like 3 hours.
You
That was
acting like you
unbelievable.
don't play Fortnite every day now.
No, but I mean, that's different. I'll jump on for 15 minutes with Theo and shit.
Yeah.
But like, I'm talking about like, I did nothing. I sat there and ate chips and played video games. And it's like, that was unheard of now.
Yeah, totally.
That was unheard of. So we are officially cottage people. And
Oh, it's so exciting.
it is exciting. And like, this has been, I have kind of a similar story to Sheridan in that my father had always had a cottage. Like we grew up in multiple different cottages when I would visit Nova Scotia because my parents had separated, but I'd get on an airplane and come fly up and see my dad, and I'd go to the cottage and stuff. And that's where my love of off-roading came. Like, my grandfather was up there and my grandmother and stuff. Like, they were right next to where our cottages were. So I'd go up there and ride my grandpa's four-wheeler. And, like, that, like, a lot of my best memories, my, like, wholesome, awesome memories. What, like, when you, like, think of your childhood and, like, 10 things just go, and they pop up in your head? Like, those things. Like, I remember playing marbles next to Andrew Raymond's place in Ottawa when I was a kid. I remember riding my bike to the Sawmill Creek swimming pool. I remember watching a whole lot of X-Men in the morning. Like, there's those things that kind of pop up.
Yep.
I remember cooking steaks outside with my grampy outside the cottage and making baked potatoes with my grandfather outside the cottage with the four-wheeler sitting there. I can smell the air. I remember the fireflies, the sound of the river in the back. Like, the cottage was just always a magical place. And I always wanted to give that to our kids. Like, I always wanted to have a place where you could just escape, like, just the day-to-day stuff, just the day-to-day shit, because there's this magical thing that happens when you get in the car and you get a chocolate chip muffin and a coffee and, like, drive. No, that's another thing we used to do. When we go to the cottage, I'd always get a chocolate chip muffin at Tim Hortons and eat it in the back of the van. And there's just, like, this magical little thing that happens when you go to a cottage. Like, even as an adult, you rent an Airbnb somewhere and you go to someone else's cottage. It's the same kind of thing. It's like this escape. There's this little, unplug from life, and you get to just go be something else for a couple days. And then you come home and get back to work and emails and all this shit.
You know, I even remember when friends of mine that were teenagers would come up to the cottage, and they would always want to come back. They said it was their favorite place to go. It just lets you kind of like not decompress, but also just like be you. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but you just take on this different version of you that maybe when you're at home and doing the mundane everyday BS, like you said, and then you get to the cottage and it's like, you know?
I don't even know why it is.
Me neither.
I don't even know why it is. And I really hope, it's funny that I'm the one saying this, but I really hope that we don't sound insensitive right now. Like, there's people out there that don't even have a house. And here we are talking about like the second house now. But it's like, there is just something about leaving your home and doing something different for a weekend.
For the record, though, we've put a lot on us. Like we have a lot, you know, of things that we have to work through to have all of these things that we have, you know what I mean? So yeah, of course, that's another reason why I'm not talking about the cottage just yet. I'm sort of figuring out how I'm going to work through that, because I would never, ever, ever want to sound insensitive. But when it comes to the cottage, I know that this has been something that we've wanted since we met, and
we've talked about
there was
all
just
the time.
no way that I wasn't going to have a cottage.
In life.
It's
Oh,
something
yeah.
that I needed for our children. It's just one of those
It's
things.
a part of your genetic makeup. You are a cottage human.
To the point where when my dad was like, I think I might sell a cottage, I was like, I'm buying it. Like, I'll buy it and we'll go up for the summers. Like, I was ready to drive up with the kids for the summers and not even be in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, and I was on the other side going, you are not removing my children
Yeah,
from my
like
house for 2 months.
I needed to be by the water. I needed to just sit there and look out at the water and just feel at peace. It brings me so much joy. So yeah, I would never want to sound insensitive, Matt, about the cottage.
It's just, isn't it weird that we're at a point in life where like when something great happens for you, there's like, it comes with this caveat, I can't even say the word caveat of like, but there's people out there that don't have it and you feel bad about a great thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think like 15 years ago, if you got a cottage, like everyone would be like, yeah. Now it's like.
Now life is so tough.
It is. It's weird. I know. I always feel weird about shit, but I don't know. Yeah. But the cottage is the greatest thing that we ever did. It's like buried in the woods. Getting in there is basically you need a Hummer to get in there. It's crazy.
Hence my new
We
car.
didn't even really realize it. That was actually anyway. It was funny though, like how different Sheridan and I were when we pulled in, because the homeowners were there because they had a relative newborn baby, and then she's pregnant again.
Right.
So he didn't really want to remove everybody out of the house for people like, yeah, who knows how many times they'd showed it at this point. Mm-hmm. And it's a bit of a haul going in and out. So he was probably sitting there like, oh my God, like more people are coming in to see it. I don't feel like uprooting my family for the day kind of thing. So anyway, the homeowner was there. Which in my opinion, I prefer that. I like the homeowner because you get the real nuggets that aren't coming filtered through a real estate agent that'd be like, do not mention the roof needs to be replaced.
Right.
Like, just like you get the real unfiltered version of the house. So we pull in the driveway after like a long drive in and get out of the truck. And Sheridan's immediately running down to the water. Like, first thing she's doing, she's on a mission down to the lake. And I go out and shake the homeowner's hand, and he's a young guy, looks like me, tattooed hands, like super cool cat. And he comes over.
That makes you super cool, guys.
No, he just like had a vibe to him. You know what I mean.
Yes,
you know what I mean. And anyway, he comes over to me, and we get talking for a minute. This is like, I haven't looked at the water. I haven't looked at the cottage. I have done nothing yet. I'm talking like I closed the truck door and went and shook his hand. And he's like, what was his name? Is his name Josh? John?
I don't know. Uh-oh, that's
Julius.
terrible.
I don't know. It's something. Jay something.
Yes.
Anyway, let's call him Josh.
Okay.
And Josh was like, hey, man, my name's Josh. And hey, Matt. And we're shooting the shit for like 10 seconds. And he's like, yeah, man, welcome to the house. I just didn't want to leave and get my family out of here and everything. He's like, hey, man, I'll give you a show around. And he's like, I don't know if you're into like ATV and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, I didn't know if he had heard about me or like what I'm into. But he's like, yeah, I don't know if you're into ATV. And I was like, buddy, that's literally my whole life is ATVing and off-roading and stuff. And he's like, oh man, come see this. I have a 4-wheeling trail that comes right off the property. And I'm like, and I could see our real estate agent, like this kind of like glow on his face. He's like, oh, this is literally locked in at this exact second. He didn't even have to show me the place. So we went up the driveway And before I looked at anything else, the cottage or the lake or anything, I was in the woods walking the ATV trail with this Josh guy. And like he could probably see right there, this man's going to buy this cottage. Like he could see me like, I'm up there like, whoa, dude, look at these trees. This is beautiful in here, man. Crazy.
Yeah, like they tell you not to look too excited, but it's like, fuck it, who cares? I like the cottage.
Oh yeah, I was basically like literally dreaming of riding this trail. Like he could see it, right? And then I come down and I yell down, I'm like, Sheridan, like you're down at the water. I'm like, Sheridan, there's a freaking ATV trail. Like they must have been like, oh, this deal's done. And anyway, we went down. You know it's a pretty cool spot when the last thing you look at is the cottage. I went down to the water and we hung out down there and walked around there for a bit. And then the last thing we did was go into the cottage and like, it's like, I don't know if the word modest is right. It's like, it's not some big crazy mansion. It's not like it's just the perfect little like cute little quaint spot. And I remember going in and opening the door and like my jaw was, if it wasn't literally on the floor, it was metaphorically slamming through into the basin. I was like, this is so cute. And I got the vibe right away. And we put an offer in, I think, 40 minutes after
we drove away. Okay, Phil.
Yeah, we literally, by the time we were eating a sandwich for lunch, which was like a 25-minute drive out, I was like calling our agent. I was like, yo, just offer them what they're asking right now. Like, let's just get this done. And,
well, my dad was with us. Also, I feel like butting in and saying that because, I love my dad. And he was with us. And as we were driving back, he said, he's like, and he is the cottage. Like when I think of the cottage, I think of my dad. And my dad, who's always kind of been, I wouldn't say hesitant. Would you say hesitant about whatever we decide to do? Or like, but he was like, this is the best thing you'll ever do. He's like, it's the best investment you'll ever make in your whole life is getting that cottage for your family. Yeah. And he's right. He is right.
Well, he's a wise old man.
But it's the best. It's the best. And he knows because he's lived a life at the cottage with those memories, with us as kids, with having friends up, with the bonfire, with everything. He knows how special that time was. And he knows we're going to do.
It unlocks a thing that not many people on earth fully get to experience. When you become a cottage family, you're the epicenter of life. Like, no one says, hey, do you want to come to my house for a sleepover? But everybody says, you want to come for the night at the cottage. It's like it unlocks adult sleepovers.
And
it's
Matt
incredible.
loves that. Matt's a very social butterfly.
God, me and Jeff.
Yeah, who's coming up first?
2 heads, one pillow.
Yeah, oh my God.
I can't wait for sleepover.
No,
with
but
Jeff
do you know
and
what?
Boy.
Again, the cottage, I think, just kind of breaks down those barriers in your walls. And like, even you think at the bonfire, when are you having those best chats about life?
The cottage.
Bonfire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is better at
So
a
we're
cottage.
very excited. We could obviously talk about it forever.
Okay, who's coming for sleepovers?
Yeah, but we're going to let that topic go, I think. So that's very exciting for us. And it is kind of why we've been sort of all over the place. And then, anyway.
So,
Oh my God, that awkward silence just reminded me of Love is Blind. Do we quickly want to touch on that?
No, there's no time. Or I guess maybe
There's always time.
Okay, is there time to talk about your shirt? Like, what's your swag over here today?
Do you have a problem with my shirt?
No, I just think it's a different vibe for you. What is this?
What
Is
were
this
you-
airy? Where's this coming from?
No, this is only me. What were you going to say when you were saying something and you're like, I'll tell you online or on podcast?
No, basically when the cameras always get knocked a little bit in this room.
Yeah.
So between each episode, and you come in and record again, I always have to look through the lens and make sure it's centered properly, etc. And I came walking into the room and you're like, how do I look on camera? And I was like, I haven't even looked yet. Just 1 sec. And I had a peek and I was like, great. And then when I locked eyes with you for a second, there was kind of this funny little smile. And then you're like, in your Fry voice, you're like, what do you think about it?
Oh my God. Is this how I talk?
I don't know.
I've never mentioned to you that the other person said I had vocal fry. And now that I mentioned it to you again, it feels like you're like, do you have it?
No, well, okay, I can never hear you.
You have a hearing problem.
No, I
No,
don't.
you do.
No, your mom even co-signed this theory.
Anyway.
That you have a voice that no one can hear. You're a low talker.
I disagree 100%.
I disagree. Anyway, the only reason that I had a little smile on my face is because you just you don't normally dress like this. Normally you have Dorito dust on your boobs.
So
and
I look
everything.
cute, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you look great. You look fabulous. I'm just trying to figure it out where you get this neck thing going on and everything.
It's very in. I did get a good haul at Old Navy the other day. God,
How does it feel to have a man that's this obsessed with you?
It feels great.
Does it?
Yeah.
Or do you take it for granted?
I don't think so.
10 years in, every time I look at you, I'm like, God, you're sexy.
Yeah, it feels great.
Just love you.
Thank you.
3,650 days later. You know we're coming up on our 10 year.
I did think that.
10 years.
April 4th, 2014, baby. So 10 years
4/4/14.
later. And you know, we've talked about this before, but I'm more in love with you than I was the first day I met you. And I'm not saying I didn't love you then, but like, you know, we've gone through so much together. I truly find you more... Why is that funny to you? I was about to dole out a compliment. Never mind.
No, I'm just laughing because you're trying to like reverse your vocal fry over there. I'm more in love with you than
Okay,
ever.
enough.
Okay, sorry. I'm not
Leave
bringing it
my
up
vocal
ever
fry-
again.
Yeah, you are. You're going to bring it up as soon as we get off the podcast. No, but what I was going to say is that I am more attracted to you now and more in love with you than ever. And I think that's...
More attracted?
Yeah.
In what way?
Many.
Many ways.
Well, I think I just find you more attractive as a person because we've gone through so much together, and I've watched you grow as, you know, a father and a business owner, and just everything that I've seen you accomplish is attractive to me, obviously, and to you as who you are as a person. And I would assume that the longer you've been with your partner, the more you figure out what they like, even in the bedroom, and like get to know each other better to the point where it's like, you know, you know me better than anyone. You know what I mean? That's attractive to me, right? And vice versa. So, I mean, a happy 10 years almost, huh?
Crazy. That's a massive milestone.
Matt says I've officially passed his other two.
No, that was
the
years
running
ago now.
joke, right? I'd be like 3 kids deep, and I was like, well, you still haven't surpassed so-and-so. I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
At least when we got married, I was like, I did it.
Yeah, son, it's a new feature.
Yeah. I unlocked something new.
10 years though. That's it's a big milestone.
I think.
You know, like when companies hit 10 years, they make like badges for it. And shit,
Matt,
right?
the
It's
longest relationship I was in consecutively, like didn't have 40 breakups, like immature BS, was probably a year.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I'm giving it in terms of like not breaking up. And
we
doing
get
something
along
stupid.
well. Yeah. Like Julie at the dealership today probably saw like a low point for us. And
Julie, don't bring it
I
up.
hope you're listening. But I think
We never actually explained what happened at the dealership. And
okay,
why.
I can do this way quicker than you, or can I? So basically, Sheridan cut me out of this whole deal yesterday, and she was like telling all the women over at the dealer not to converse with me anymore and to deal with her so that she could be an adult and like do her own shit. So we roll in there today. We've done everything, drove the van down for the trade-in, blah, 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 blah. And then the woman's like, okay, so where's the sales papers or the actual like ownership paper for the car? And Sharon's like, well, that's it right there. And Sharon's holding out the vehicle permit. And she's like, no, I need the ownership papers. And Sharon's over there looking at her to-do list. Vehicle permit, ownership papers. And she's like, oh, I didn't bring the I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, why didn't you tell me this? Buddy, I like, honestly, man, if Julie wasn't there, I think I would have threw my head through a wall. It was like everything I could to just keep it together.
It was so funny to watch you, and I know you so well. Just be on the other end, because I know if she wasn't there, Matt would have lost it.
I've been like,
But instead, you had no choice but to keep it calm, cool, and collected. And this is me the whole time on the other end. I'm like, just a little smile on my face. I'm like, how you doing, hon? Oh, that was really a highlight for me, and I'm so glad it happened.
No, at one point, do you remember when I had to get up and walk around the room for a second? I was ready to have a mental breakdown. Like, literally, if she wasn't there, I don't even know. I think I would have literally threw my head through a wall. I was like, why didn't Sheridan, you like...
But do you know
you had it in your head. You want to keep Matt out of it. And it was like, now we literally have to drive from Bridgewater to Halifax, get the paperwork, and then drive all the way back to
But this is the reason why you and I work, and I'll tell you why. Because to you, that is, oh my God, the biggest deal, you're going to throw your head through the wall. To me, I'm like, oh, well, we got to drive home and I got to drive back up. And that's why we balance each other out. Because for me, I'm like, okay, sure. I did a little oops, and that's on me. I'll take that. And I said, I drive it back up. Like that to me, nothing is the end of the world until it's the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, it's like, that's not the end of the world.
But if we both freaked out, how hilarious would it have been?
No, it wouldn't have been.
Oh, yeah, motherfucker.
No.
What the
No. That would not have been funny.
Julie's like, oh
Yeah,
my God.
exactly. And not signing it over.
No, you're right. That is us. We have a balancing act with the two of us, and it's fantastic. No, it's the worst when you get really angry too because we crumble. Oh yeah, if anyone's wondering when Sheridan and I hit
the
our
other day I did it on purpose. I was angry
you
at something
freaking out
and I
about?
slammed the door, remember? And you're like, whoa. Remember I
what
slammed
was that?
our bedroom
Yeah.
door? I was pissed at you for something. And I know in your head you're like, oh my God, Sheridan just slammed the door. Because I don't do that. It's not in me.
And I was like, and I am not apologizing. And then you were like, wham! And then I heard something hit the floor out there. I'm like, wow.
Half me is like, did I do it? Did I make a statement?
I can't even remember what that fight was.
And there you go.
They're never like big things. It's never
Never.
like some catastrophic thing. It's always like I forgot to get noodles at the store or something or something.
Okay, could we actually talk about that? Why is it that, and honest to God, this isn't a one-time thing that I'm just coming out with this. Every single time I send Matt to go get something, he comes back with something that's different than what I asked him to get. And you're not the only one, to be clear. That's why I'm saying this on the microphone, because I know.
Is this a male thing?
Yes, I don't know what it is, but it's like you and women, you can agree with me on this, that when you send your man out to do something and then they come back with something, you're like, what? Or they forgot something or they got the wrong of something. It's
Every time.
every
time.
And it's every time, Matt.
No, like when you sent me a Subway the other day. Oh my God. And then what did I do? I didn't get the soup and then or something.
I sent Matt my Subway order. He said, text me your order. I texted it to him.
In all fairness, I was already in the lineup. Like this was a very
You
like,
don't need to validate your point.
No, but okay, but it wasn't like I drove to Subway from the house with orders. I was there
Anyway,
with
so
with a
Matt's
phone
reading
and
out whatever the order is, and every time, as he knows, I like a Diet Coke and soup on the side and whatever. But in this instance, I said, I don't need any chips because we have some at home. Don't worry about it. So he must have just seen don't need any chips. And I was like, wow, look at Sheridan go. And he ordered the sub. And when he came home, I said, did you get the soup?
No, it's
This is literally what I said. Did you get the soup? Because he had dropped off and he's like, I didn't get the soup. And somehow it's like my fault for asking for soup. And I'm like, how are you mad at me?
No, the annoying thing, here's the thing, because you know this about me. It is what it is. So I can like space. So I come home, like just a great man, like pick lunch up for my wife. Just a great guy, right? Come home, put lunch down. I'm so proud of myself. I nailed her order. Like the sub was perfect, right ratios of everything, all this shit. And then like here I am, like all proud of myself. The Diet Coke, like the whole 9 yards. And then Sheridan comes walking into the room, and like before she even fathoms the fact that there's this lunch assortment in front of her, like she enters the room, and like within a quarter of a millisecond. Did you get the soup? Like, no. You knew I wasn't going to get the soup.
How did I know?
I think you edited the
not.
text.
I didn't. You know how important
edited
this soup
the
is.
text.
You know I get a side soup everywhere I go. And then I was like,
See, you're an annoying person to be with when you're not, like, the fact that I'm bad with orders, you're the worst type of person to be with because you modify everything. Like Sheridan can't go through a Tim Hortons drive-thru without double toasting the bagel. Like if she
is a good idea.
Like that time you sent me that order in the McDonald's drive-thru, and then you're like, the leaf lettuce, not the shredded. I'm like, I fucking know McDonald's had separate lettuces. Like, make sure you get the leaf lettuce. I responded back. I was like, I don't even know if I can say those words. So I pull up to the thing. I'm like, you was trying to use a manly voice.
No,
I'm like, I'll get the leaf lettuce.
No,
like,
but fair
leaf
enough.
lettuce?
If you say, I usually like my, listen, try it, okay, before you come for me. I get my sausage combo and I say, add a piece of lettuce. And every time they say, leaf or shredded, so I say,
I've never heard those words in my life.
Oh my God, that's so
You
funny.
modify everything. Like I get you the carrot muffin. It's got to be microwaved with the butter.
And cheese.
and I slice of cheese.
Another thing you guys should try. Carrot muffins with butter, add some cheese.
No,
Call
but
me
like,
crazy.
come on, people. Have my back with something here. It's just ridiculous. Like everything. You can never go, man, I want the big onions, not the mini ones. Like, everything's modified. So, like, here I am, this guy just trying to get you a sandwich, and it's like, I need the chips. Do you get the chili, the broccoli, or the chicken? Like, which one is it? Like,
so this is when it comes down to communication, because I understand both sides. I always do my best to understand both sides, whether I show it or not. So I can understand that you were feeling good, that you asked me and you said,
I couldn't wait to come home with that pop.
You literally
sandwich.
said to me, like, you're like, instead of just leaving the mall without thinking of me, you're like, I'm gonna think of Sheridan and tell it's like, say something.
Every
order.
time, smoothies.
You felt so good. You're like, I'm the best husband, whatever. I get that. And then I try to understand from my side where I'm like, I wrote a very clear text. That's all I wanted from that. And then when I said, did you get the soup? It's all of a sudden all of a sudden you're angry at yourself. So you projected onto me.
That's exactly what I did.
And I'm like, why are you mad at me? All I said was, did you get the soup? Instead of.
What are you, a literal psychologist? That's exactly what I did. I was mad at myself, so I projected on you.
But instead of you being like, oh my God, I forgot the soup. I'm so sorry.
Wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah,
if I would have said that, you would have been like, you're an idiot.
Rob,
like, read it.
That's not true.
That's 100%.
No,
exact words.
If
Don't
it's
let her
hot,
trick you.
let's go to therapy, because I truly don't think I would have said that.
Oh, yeah, if I would have said, hun, I didn't get the soup. I forgot. You would have been like, you're a jackass. Read my text.
Wrong.
Okay, you would have been like, Matthew.
I actually disagree. I think that
if you think you would have been like, oh, hun, it's okay.
I do.
Wow.
Can we have a guest on here that does lie detection? Because I swear, if you had said it in a nice way and been like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
No, because
I would have
here's
been
the
like,
thing. No, because when I'm nice, you think I'm being fake nice. This is the thing. You called me on the other day. You're like, you're just trying to be. I'm like, no. I can't do anything. I'm damned if I do. I'm damned if I don't. If I'm nice, you think I'm fake nicing it, and if I'm mean, you think I'm just being mad.
Matt and I were talking the other day about something, and we got into an argument. Oh, it was about the car thing and how I was like, stop treating me like I'm a toddler. Lo and behold, I guess you kind of did need to with that piece of paper. But I was like, let me do something on my own. Like, stop holding my hand, blah, blah, blah. And our friend Daphne was beside us. And of course, she's just like giggling because she's seen us arguing. And I was thinking in my head, because we had been talking about, I've been feeling this way about, not feeling like I can do my own things independently for a long time. So I kind of blew up about it. And I thought, this is how the cast on Love is Blind is shown. Like, they just take those moments.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, because that's TV, right? The only couple right now that I'm for sure going to get married are boring. You don't even remember their names because they're just,
Yeah.
show business, baby. Anyway, I do want to talk about Love is Blind. We're not going to this episode.
No, we got to get
We're
off.
going to stop talking. But next episode, the finale will be done, and I can't freaking wait to talk to you guys all about it.
So we're going to have to, we'll have another one up next week. We have to.
Before we, yeah.
Okay.
Love
See
you.
you later. Love you. Like and freaking subscribe. Hit the sub.
Subscribe to my vocal
You're
fry.
subbing.
It's the Two Gems Podcast.